everybody. I was just warning Matt. I have the two producers awake, so who knows what's going to happen. Last time we ended the show with Lily doing my hair. Matt Christiansen is back. Really glad to have him. He is going to tell us all about this. This is a headline from NPR. DOJ says Russia paid right-wing influencers to spread Russian propaganda. I'm sure many people are aware of this story. A lot of people have been talking about it. And I wanted to have Matt on so we could just hear firsthand. Matt, what I thought was interesting too is that in this indictment, you're not actually named along with like Tim Pool and Dave Rubin. It just, right? I don't think it's not you're in there, but somehow everybody figured it out. Oh, it's Matt Christiansen, Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, and a couple of other people. Can you explain two things? Just let's talk, what was the indictment and what does this headline mean? And did they get it right at NPR? And then also, how did everybody figure out it was you and all these other people?
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning, and this is kind of complicated, so I'm going to give the quickest possible explanation for what happened. I, along with the other 5 personalities you mentioned, we were contracted to a company called Tenet Media, and you may have seen a lot of our stuff over the course of the last year. We started the project in November of 2023, and running the company was Lauren Chen and her husband Liam. You might know her by Roaming Millennial. Now, I can't speak to everybody else's experience because we were all operating independently. We were all contracted separately. But July last year, Roaming Millennial, Lauren Chen, and her husband Liam, they came to me, and we've been friendly for years. And they said, "Hey, we got this awesome new media startup we're working on. We think you'd be a good fit for this operation. What do you think? What would it take to get you to create content exclusively for this project?" We worked it out. We came to an agreement. The project launched in November. And since November, everybody has been independently making material. Actually, let me back up a little bit. What I cared about most in my own contract, and what I know everybody else cared about too, insofar as everybody agreed to similar terms on this piece, most important to me was that I retain editorial control. That nobody's telling me what to say, that they're coming to me and they're saying, "We like your material. We think it'd be a good fit. We want to host it." But that's all that's really a part of this discussion, is hosting it. It's not telling me what to say. It's not writing the material. It's not producing the material. It's just the rights to host it. And I want to be very clear for anybody who hasn't heard it from me yet, although I'm sure a lot of people have. Every word I said was written and delivered by me. Every video you saw from me on Tenet was edited by me. They were shot by me. Nobody had any hand in the production of any video or stream I made in any way other than it went to them to host.
And Matt, was it exclusive content for them or stuff you were already producing anyway, and then you just sent it to them? Like, did anyone else get to see it anywhere else, or was it just there?
Yeah, thanks for clarifying too. I uploaded directly to their YouTube and Rumble channels. There was no middleman, like, I don't know, he said this, and I don't think that's very safe, or we want him to say this instead of that. The streams I did direct to them because I had a live Wednesday show. So nobody's monitoring that live Wednesday show either. You can't. I mean, it's a live production. But the videos, yeah, those are posted right to their YouTube and Rumble channels. Facebook was a part of it too. But I did that too. I posted it myself. There was nobody reviewing the material at all. The only piece that they had a part in was they wanted to do thumbnails, which is fine because I hate making thumbnails. And as people who have watched my stuff for years, I'm notoriously lazy with my thumbnails. I just put some text on there and have a picture of me, and that's about it. But they wanted a certain brand presentation, so they wanted to do thumbnails. Okay, that's fine. That's not hugely important to me in the creative process. And then sometimes we would go back and forth about titles because they wanted titles to be sort of SEO. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the sort of title that's
SEO friendly.
Yeah, SEO friendly.
Clickable.
Yeah. So we would go maybe once in a while there'd be a back and forth about a title, but this was not like they tell me what the title of the video is. This is me saying, "Hey, this video is going up tomorrow and the title is this." And the response I get is, "Great. Sounds good." you know.
You approved everything, even if they had, hey, what if we added this word or something? You knew what they were doing, and you said,
Yeah, there were a few, like I would say out of the I made 76 videos and 40 streams for Tenet. And out of those, I would say the title was slightly changed maybe 5 times. Like they just, let's word it this way instead of that way. So we're talking about a tiny fraction, and it wasn't about substance. It was just about, okay, do you like it described this way or that way better? And that's it.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 light touches that were on my product, but it's not as far as the substance of the videos. Never. There was never anything involved in that way, and I can say that's true for everybody who was on the project. This was the company was hosting material for people who were making their material independently. Indeed, everybody on it has enjoyed some level of success making their material on their own, and the company was looking to buy the rights to this material and publish it. And that's what happened for everybody. So that happens November through early September. Now, as I mentioned, I had a Wednesday night live stream. And of course, I have a few hours of prep before anything I make. And so I'm sitting at my computer around noon Mountain Time that Wednesday, September 4th. And all of a sudden, my email inbox just gets flooded with a bunch of reporters asking me for comments. And they're big name outlets these reporters are from. We're talking NBC News, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN. I have no idea what this is. So they're telling me, oh, there's this indictment, and it appears that Tenet is the subject of this. Can you confirm? Do you have comment on this? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to read this indictment because I have no idea what this is. And I'm not saying just me, nobody. Every single person I've talked to, which includes some of the other personalities, some people on the inside who were just, they're employees of Liam and Lauren who are managing the day-to-day of the company. Everybody was totally blindsided. And so to get your viewers up to speed on what the indictment alleges, and I know I said it'd be quick and this hasn't turned out quick, but that's because it's detailed.
There's a lot to go over. Yeah.
What the indictment is alleging. Now, Lauren and Liam believed that they had a French investor backing them. At least that's what I was told by them, and everybody else was told by them. Now, the DOJ is saying, no, that wasn't a French investor. That was Russian operatives from RT who were formerly banned from broadcasting in this country after Russia invaded Ukraine. And they worked with Lauren and Liam to deceive everybody here to get them to, per the headline that you put up there, to promote Russian propaganda or to create Russian propaganda. Okay, so the idea is that this whole company was just some front for Russia's interest and influence in this country. Couple problems with that idea. Number one, as I mentioned, nobody was giving direction for how to make material, what to make, what to say, any of that. So there's a problem there. Number two, the indictment alleges that Lauren and Liam knew that they had some Russian guy or 2 people funding them, but instead deceived the personalities that they were backed by this French investor. Now, I personally do not believe that Lauren and Liam were deceived. I think, based on my own experience and based on my conversations with everybody involved who I know, some of whom were very closely involved in the negotiation of not just my contract, but the contracts of others, that Lauren and Liam did not know the true identity of this person, as they believed this person to be the French investor by the name of Edward Gregorian that the indictment mentions. So the indictment accuses them of deceiving others. I dispute that. But just based on my experience and conversations I've had, I believe Lauren and Liam believed that the French investor was real. Of course, that invites several other questions about, did they do their due diligence? Did they miss red flags? Now, I think if some of the allegations in the indictment are true, there were some red flags they potentially missed. Or maybe they got all these contracts secured, they got the company operating, and maybe after the fact they realized that this guy who had provided their investment money wasn't who he appeared to be. Maybe they were, I don't know, I'm speculating. And the reason I'm speculating is because I haven't been able to talk to Lauren and Liam personally because they're somewhere in Fed world. Who knows? They've been totally silent since this dropped on September 4th. And I think that's a pretty good, that gets you up to speed pretty well. But so I guess in the interest of moving along,
I get
I'll
it.
leave it there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys, if you're watching this, you got to settle down with a good glass of wine because you're just going to be like, what? I don't know if any of this makes any sense. What's happening? And you want to be an extremist, but you don't want to end up on the DOJ watch list. All this crazy stuff coming after you, thinking that Russians are paying you. Whatever, then you can be an extremist because this is Extreme Altitude Wine by joining AllisonWinePromo.com. I always say it is the Extreme Altitude Wine for the extremist who does not want to go to federal prison. You get 6 bottles of amazing wine. Every 3 months, you will get wines from all kinds of places like Chile, Argentina, Italy, Spain. You always have a gift to give to the person you unfriended over Russiagate 1.0. Today, we're talking about Russiagate 2.0. And you know what? You're going to love the wine and be able to talk about that. Then you can go into Hillary, Trump, who you voted for. Did you get the vaccine? I hate you. I love you. Whatever you want to do. The wine will help smooth it all over. AllisonWinePromo.com. Thanks for everybody's already over there. So
can I realized I skipped your second question. I don't mean to.
Oh yeah.
interrupt,
How did people figure it out? I mean, obviously
couple-
your picture's on Tenet Media, right? So I mean, we see you here, but
a couple of things. One thing I want to clarify too.
Yeah.
None of the personalities you see on screen, so the 6 commentators,
Yep.
none of them are indicted. I'm not indicted. Lauren and Liam are not indicted. The only people indicted are these Russian operatives that the DOJ is accusing. So none of us are, obviously we're not convicted criminals, but the DOJ considers us victims. And the FBI has reached out to me saying, we think that you may be a victim of a crime. Would you like to talk to us on a voluntary basis? Now I've declined. But
Matt, curious though, like if the indictment is basically, hey, these Russian operatives, whatever you want to call them, are paying money to spread Russian propaganda, but you're saying nobody was pushing propaganda. You guys were all saying what you already think. Then where's the crime?
The crime, as far as the DOJ is concerned, is that these foreign operatives were exercising political influence without registering as foreign agents. But to your point,
but how?
Exactly. A piece of that crime would be some kind of influence. And I'm telling you, there was none, zero. The DOJ, I suppose, would say, well, there was also these Russians were like editing clips for social media and stuff. Okay, that could be true. I didn't handle the social media part of the company. That was, I was contracted to provide a good or a service, and I did. It's not my business to manage their social media. But even if it was true that like these Russian guys were cutting clips to put on Twitter, okay, we're talking about like cutting up clips of MSNBC shows or CNN shows and putting them on Twitter, as you see all kinds of news accounts do. Again, is that influence? Is that foreign influence? Or is that just standard clip sharing that you see all over Twitter all the time? To your question about why we were not mentioned in the indictment, that's why, is because we're not accused of anything. So they intentionally withheld our identities. Now, if you piece it together, you can figure out who the company is and who the people are. In defense of, I think, some of the otherwise shoddy journalism, as far as I saw, they did not name me or any of the others until we voluntarily issued statements about the indictment. Some of the other personalities put out tweets. I put out something on Twitter. I did my own stream. I've talked on some other streams. I put out my own lengthy statement explaining everything I know. So once we identified ourselves, then a lot of the reporting started discussing us by name.
All right. We're going to take some questions at locals. First, though, if you're not a digital person, you want to send me mail, you can send me questions for people by mail. You'll probably miss the actual interview, but that's okay. I'd love to see your questions. Also, you can send donations for the show, artwork. You'll send me seeds for plants that grow well in Florida. Whatever you want, as long as it's not creepy, because the kids open them on the way home, and edible, because I will think you're trying to poison me. P.O. Box 3355, Denellen, Florida, 34432. Okay. That's my P.O. Box, 34432. Yeah, P.O. Box 3355. Can you say hi to Matt? No?
Hi.
Okay.
You look like my son. You got the same hair. That's great.
He's got that runny nose. All right. AllisonMara.locals.com. Ginger Ninja, Matt, exactly how many face-to-face conversations have you had with Vlad himself? We know it was more than 5. Tell Matt I said hi. But honestly, this question, Brisbane, what is the possibility this whole thing was set up to discredit the content providers by the government? There are a lot of people nowadays who don't trust anything coming out of the DOJ. Do you take this at face value, like, the whole story we're hearing from the government, or do you think there's some nefarious second purpose to all of
Yeah,
this?
well, I think it's the latter. And I'm not just saying that out of some self-interest or something. I'm trying to analyze this from an incentive or benefit earned type perspective. Because put yourself in the position of these Russian operatives. Okay, let's say that the DOJ is correct, that there are these Russian agents trying to gain political influence in the US that they've been otherwise blocked out of through the RT ban. Okay, so you're going to go get a bunch of content creators in the US you're going to go get contracts with them to spend money to secure the rights to host content that would already be made in the same way if you did nothing. Like every video I made, every stream I made, and every production by the other personalities would have existed in, if not the exact same form, generally the same concept. Like every news story I talked about, I came to at my own interest. So I would have made the exact same stuff over on my channel. Why would a Russian agent looking to influence politics in this country waste money on a product that would exist independent of their intervention? They don't gain anything. What is gained in that situation? You're just wasting money on something that would exist regardless of whether you paid it or not. So I do have to question what else is gained here. And what else is gained here is the ability to say that prominent voices on the right or dissident voices against the government, or however you want to characterize it, this is a way to discredit them at an opportune time. It's very hard for me to accept that the FBI comes to me and says, "Hey, Matt, would you like to talk to us? We believe you're the victim of a crime." Really? You believe I'm the victim of a crime? How long have you believed that? Has it been weeks, months? Why did you suddenly decide in September, before the November election, that I'm the victim of a crime and potentially I should consult with the FBI about that?
And how long has this whole contract been going on with Tenet Media?
So we started in November. The first video I posted to Tenet, I think, was November 6th.
Last
So
year?
yeah, so we were about 10 months in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's hard for me to accept the story as the DOJ has told it, because the incentives for these Russian operatives just aren't there. And I will also emphasize to your viewers, there's another side to this story, as there is with every single one, not just mine, but Lauren and Liam's. And I need to hear their side of the story. Again, I believe that they were tricked. That's just my personal guess based on my information and based on my read of them. But we need to hear their side of the story. I don't know why we haven't, and I'm not saying it's questionable of them not to have delivered it yet. I don't know what world of law enforcement they're in right now.
Or
But
lawyers. I mean, they probably
yeah,
have lawyers that are just like, don't say anything right now. Just don't say
right.
anything.
But I
I would
hope
say.
eventually we do get the other side of this story. It's not even an anti-DOJ thing or an anti-Fed thing, although, of course, I have my skepticism that's particular to them. Whenever you're trying to resolve a conflict, what do? Person A gives their side, person B
Yeah.
gives their side. Now, there's going to be person B, whether it's in court or just publicly. We have to wait for that side of the story to really figure out what happened here.
Don't forget your cod liver oil, your fermented cod liver oil, concentrated butter oil blend. If you use Allison at checkout, greenpasture.org, you'll get the stuff that has helped me heal my cavities naturally. It's also great for all kinds of other autoimmune issues. You got chronic pain, chronic fatigue, gut issues, whatever you got. I'm telling you, this is an amazing product. We take the cinnamon tingle. My kids take it. It's great for your teeth. It's great for your brain. It's great for all kinds of things. So go to greenpasture.org and use promo code Allison at checkout. Matt, where do we want to send people so they can see more of your responses to this? I've got Matt Christiansen Media pulled up here. You've got a YouTube channel, obviously most people are familiar with. How can people support you? Where should they go to continue following what's going on?
That's exactly it. If you would like to listen to my material, you can head on over to mattchristiansenmedia.com and you'll find all the platforms on which it's hosted and all the things I make. There are short videos, do long form podcast content, all that stuff. If anything I've said in this whole discussion sounds unclear, or maybe I didn't get to a point that you wanted me to get to, and you're interested in this story, I would also direct you to the homepage on my website. There, I've got a few notes, as you can see, and one of those is that I've got a public statement and explainer, basically everything I know about the Tenet situation. You can read in long form my experience, all the details. Again, there's some of my contract that's disclosed in there. And if you have any questions about what my interaction with the company was, it's all there. And my aim is to be as open and transparent about it as possible.